Home to one of the world's oldest civilizations, India has been a center of spices, silk, and wealth for thousands of years. With its magnificent palaces, colorful markets, and profound philosophy, this subcontinent always captivated the dreams of the West. However, in the early 17th century, the British East India Company, arriving on merchant ships, stepped into this mythical land not merely as traders, but as future masters. This was the beginning of the story of seizing the brightest jewel of the empire on which the sun never sets, and subjugating a continent. The British arrival in India initially aimed only at securing commercial privileges. However, with the weakening of the Mughal Empire, the East India Company began to raise its own army and pit local principalities against each other. The Battle of Plassey in 1757 resulted in the British conquest of Bengal, marking the first major step in the gradual colonization of India. The trading company slowly gave way to a ruthless colonial administration. The oppressive policies of the British, heavy taxes, and disrespect for religious beliefs accumulated great anger among the Indian people. In 1857, a rebellion initiated by Indian soldiers, Sepoys, serving in the British Army, quickly spread across North and Central India. This was the first major and organized uprising against British rule. Indians engaged in bloody conflicts to regain their independence, inflicting heavy losses on British garrisons. However, the British, with their superior weaponry and ruthless tactics, brutally suppressed the rebellion. Rebels were executed by being tied to the mouths of cannons, villages were burned, and thousands of innocent people were massacred. In 1858, the rule of the East India Company ended, and India was directly annexed to the British Crown, British Raj. This defeat marked the beginning of a dark period for the Indian people. The country was now officially part of the British Empire. The period of the British Raj was an economic and social catastrophe for India. India's rich textile industry was deliberately destroyed to protect British factories. Indian farmers were forced to grow cash crops like cotton and indigo instead of food. These policies led to horrific famines that caused millions of deaths. In the Bengal famine of 1943 alone, nearly 3 million people died of starvation. While India's wealth flowed to Britain, its people struggled in misery. At the end of World War I, Indians who had fought for Britain expected more freedom, but instead faced harsher repressive laws. On April 13, 1919, British soldiers opened fire on an unarmed crowd peacefully gathered in Jallianwala Bagh Square in Amritsar. Hundreds of men, women, and children were massacred. This atrocity completely destroyed the Indian people's faith in British justice and irrevocably ignited the flame of independence. During this dark period, a new form of resistance emerged under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi, nonviolent civil disobedience, satyagraha. Gandhi called on the Indian people to boycott British goods, weave their own clothes, and peacefully resist unjust laws. The famous Salt March in 1930 was a massive uprising against the British salt monopoly. Millions of Indians began to shake the foundations of the British Empire through civil disobedience, without resorting to violence. After World War II, a weakened Britain realized it could no longer hold on to India. However, the independence process ended in a great tragedy. In 1947, India was partitioned along religious lines into India and Pakistan. This partition led to one of the largest and bloodiest migrations in history. Millions of people were forced to leave their homes, and over 1 million lives were lost in the violence. Freedom had come, but its price was paid with the blood of brothers. At midnight on August 14, 1947, British rule officially ended. In the Parliament building in New Delhi, the Union Jack was lowered for the last time. Lord Mountbatten transferred his authority to Indian leaders. After centuries of exploitation, oppression, and resistance, the British left India, leaving behind a divided but independent subcontinent. On the morning of August 15th, India's first Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru delivered his historic Tryst with Destiny speech as the flag of independent India waved in the sky. Millions of people in the streets celebrated freedom, leaving behind years of pain and tears. India had broken the chains of colonialism and taken its place on the world stage as a free nation determining its own destiny. India's story proved to the entire world that non-violent resistance and civil disobedience could bring even the greatest empires to their knees. Today, India rises as the world's largest democracy. So, what happened in the heart of Africa, in those dark forests where millions were sacrificed for rubber and ivory? In our next video, we will witness the bloody colonial history and struggle for independence of Congo. Stay tuned.